put your hand over your eyes. I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today. And now your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today. And now over your heart, I open my arms to hear this, to receive the spiritual truth today. The spiritual truth that I'm working with today is the same one I worked with last week, and it's the same one I worked with the week before. It's that spiritual truth that says spiritual awareness, being aware of God's operating system. Spiritual awareness will bring you what it is you want and what it is you need. Spiritual awareness will bring you a deeper connection with those that you love. Spiritual awareness will bring you new people to love in your life. Spiritual awareness will bring you the kind of discretionary income that means freedom. You can decide to go somewhere if you want to go somewhere, get something if you want to get something. Spiritual awareness will bring you bliss. So we've been working a little bit on how to get more spiritually aware. And I stumbled upon this concept of this one single question. That one single question that says, given my past experience, given my present circumstance, given my future hopes and dreams, what is the wise thing for me to do? What is the wise thing for me to do? See, we make spiritual work a lot more complicated than it needs to be. If we could, and one of the reasons I spent 3 whole weeks on this is because I want us to get it so deep. What is the wise thing for me to do? So that every invitation that comes our way, every opportunity that comes our way, every decision we have to make that comes our way, we can apply this one simple question. What is the wise thing for me to do? Not what can I get away with? Not what's legal in my life. Not what's moral in terms of today's society. But what is the wise thing for me to do? We want it to become totally habitual, this one little question. Today I'm going to apply it to time. What is the wise thing for me to do with my time? You know, Job in the Bible says that our time is determined, that there is somebody in the sky named God who's written down how many days we have. We don't actually subscribe to that at this church. We don't think there is a guy in the sky, God in the sky, who has written down or knows or has said how many days you and I will be on the planet. But we do believe this: there is a limit to our expression in this body. There's a limit to the amount of time that we have in this expression. We can overeat, we can overachieve, we can overspend, but you can never overlive. You and I know there's a limit. There will come a time when our expression here will be complete and we will move on to another expression. But there is a limitation in our time. So what is it that we want to do with the time that we have here? Are we using it wisely for ourselves? See, because really what we want in this life, I named all those things. We'd love a beloved, we'd love more money, we'd love this, we'd love that. But here's the real thing that we want. We want to feel whole, perfect, and complete. That's really what we want. We want to feel that which we already are, which is the presence of God. That's what our real work is. And when we waste our time, that's harder for us to do. So if there was ever a time when this question was important, what is the wise thing for me to do? It actually is in relationship to time. Now, I want to be careful because, you know, in this church, we don't believe we wasted anything. We believe everything we ever did, every minute we ever spent at something was purposeful. We don't regret it. We don't wish to shut the door on it. We know that what we did got us to where we are right now. We get that. And yet, I have to ask myself sometimes the question, aren't there some seasons that I wish I hadn't spent so much time being a drunk? Aren't there some seasons, or a season in which I spent so much time in a relationship I knew wasn't working for me? Was it purposeful eventually? Yes. But I wish I'd have gotten it a little sooner. Wish I'd have picked it up a little sooner in my life. So we're going to ask this question, but before we do that, I'm going to ask us to consider a couple of things about how we use our time wisely. And this whole series has actually been taken, when I read a book, I bring a book and I talk about the book. Sometimes when I hear speakers, I bring the speakers and I talk about them. This whole series comes from a fabulous Christian preacher named Andy Stanley, who's from the South, and he's phenomenal. He is fundamentally Christian, so I have to kind of rework some stuff so that it makes sense for us. But what he said is, look, he said there are three. He actually had many more, but I picked out three of them. 3 observations about time that if we can kind of anchor in our consciousness, if we can become familiar with these 3 things that I want to talk about, these observations about time, it'll be easier for us to ask our important question. Is this a wise thing for me to do with my time? Now look, everything I tell you today and every day is not new to you. There's nothing shocking here. There's nothing that's going to blow your hair back and say, whoa, that was fabulous. No, because you already know it. And in fact, here's the thing. Whenever I say anything to you that you think, oh, I love that. Oh, I hope I remember that. That was so fabulous. The reason that you're saying it is because it struck a chord that is already within you, that you already know about. See, there's something that's inside of you that resonated with that so strongly, you came out and met me halfway with that. There's nothing new. You have everything that is divine is already inside of you. So let's get to these three things. But first, if there's anybody who's thinking, what has this got to do with church? What does time have to do with church? Here's what we want to remember. We are simply God in form. This time, this body is God's body. This time is God's time. We're simply good stewards of the time, getting us closer to that whole perfect and complete person that we already are. So the number 1 is investing small amounts of time over time is cumulative. Investing small amounts of time over time is cumulative. And you know that because you know that if you spend 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week, exercising, week after week after week, year after year after year, it's cumulative. It adds up in your life. If you spend time eating with your kids 3 or 4 times a week at a family dinner table, that will add up. It's cumulative over time. If you have quiet time, a meditation practice, or what I prefer to call a quiet time every day, and you do it every day or 4 days a week, it's cumulative. It day after day, week after week, year after year, it accumulates inside of you. Investing small amounts of time over time is cumulative. Those of us in recovery, we know if we go to 90 meetings in 90 days, it's cumulative. It anchors us in a deeper way. Here's the thing. You and I both know that you can't change a life by going to the gym once. You can't change your life. No big changes. Your life doesn't change if you come to church one time. It doesn't change. If you go to a meeting one time, there's nothing life-changing about that. The benefit is in small deposits over time. But here's where we get into trouble. If we miss one time, it doesn't matter. See, if you only deposit one time, it does matter. It's not cumulative. If you miss one time, it's not so detrimental that it won't work. But we start to fool ourselves. And so there's a time here and a time there and a time over there and a time over there. And then you're writing your check to the gym and you're wondering why, but there's a time over here and a time over there. See? It's easy to, when somebody calls us on the phone and we're in our gym clothes and we're ready to go to the gym and somebody says, hey, you want to go out to breakfast? Yeah, I do. Let's go out to breakfast. That's not the end of the world. But if we do it constantly, if we're always distracted from that which we're trying to spend time from, it does make a big difference in our life. You've never heard anybody say when you went to the gym one time, whoa, you are cut. Oh, you look fabulous. No, nobody's going to say that. It's time after time after time. And then they come and they say, how fabulous you look. You know, if you do a meditation practice over time, your friends will begin to notice a difference in you. But one time won't get it. So here's the thing. We want to remember this one thing. Investing small amounts of time over time is cumulative. The second one is random deposits of time have no cumulative effect. It's something we know. But if I were to take this hand and I were to put all of the things that were not random in my life, my exercise program, my this, my that, if I were to put them all in here, it would have a cumulative effect on me. If I put all the random stuff, the time I went out to breakfast with a friend, I, read my email, I did all the things that I have so important for me to do, take a nap, in order to not do the things that are important to me over here, I don't even remember what they are. I can't really tell you what I did. I can tell you what I did if I went to the gym 3 days a week, week after week, day after day, or if I sat in the quiet time, I could tell you I did that. All this other stuff that's random, I can't even tell you what it is. I have no idea what it is. It's not purposeful and it's not beneficial in my life. See, there's no accumulative value in that. If you're married and you have kids and you want to have kind of a family time together, we have to ask ourselves the important question, is what I'm about to do important? Given that I've already demonstrated or I've intended to have a strong family, I'm so happy I have these kids, I'm so happy I have this beloved, I've spoken that, and now am I spending time with them? Am I doing things? Or is my hobby so important? Or, going here or going there, is that so important that I miss days of dinner? Or whatever it is that you wanted to do with your kids. See, when we neglect things that are important to us, we're going to lose the value of those. We might not lose the shell of them, but we begin to lose the value of them. So it's important for us to ask ourselves, is this a wise thing for me to be doing, given what I want? My future hopes and dreams, to have this family grow and be strong. Is this what I want to be doing right now? This body, I want it to grow and be strong. Is this a wise thing for me to spend my time doing right now? I want a spiritual life that is deep. Is this a wise thing for me to be doing right now? If you want to play a musical instrument well, these guys, they don't play randomly. Everybody doesn't pick up the saxophone and say, I think I'll play a little bit today. No, he practices regularly because he knows what he wants. He wants a band. He wants a career in music. He wants to give his gift. A lot of us have gifts that are sitting on the inside of us because we're not willing to ask ourselves, is this a wise use of my time right now? So we don't have that ability to give that gift that we want to give in our life. Area 3. There are areas in life that matter to us that you cannot make up. If you misspend the time, it's gone. There are areas in our life that we've lost because we haven't asked this one question. You can pull an all-nighter in school, and you can study at the last minute, C's get degrees. You ever hear that? C's get degrees. You can pull, I know, some of you did. You got an all-nighter. I know you're all sitting there not me. I studied all semester. No, you didn't. You pulled an all-nighter and you, C's get degrees. Okay, I'm all right. I'm safe. You know, some of you have business presentations, and instead of preparing for the business presentation, what you do is you pull an all-nighter. And it turns out pretty good, and people come to you and say, you know, that was really good. And you say, yeah, because I work better under pressure. You know, I know ministers, they start writing their sermons at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. C's get degrees. Okay, but the point is this. Those things are temporary. The things that mean something to you, your family, your health, your careers, those things you cannot pull an all-nighter on. You can't cram for it. You know, if you want a strong family, you can't, and you haven't been having dinner with your kids or you haven't been around with your kids, you can't sit them down at the breakfast table some morning and say, okay, now kids, 8 o'clock, we're going to have breakfast. 9 o'clock, we're going to have a snack. 10 o'clock, we're going to have something else. We're going to stay here all day to make up for all the times we missed a meal together. See? Those kids don't want to do that. They said, you snooze, you lose. We want to be careful. Areas of our life we can't make up. Spiritual maturity, it takes a deposit. It takes us depositing every single week. I prefer a day, but if nothing else, make a deposit in your spiritual life every single week. In addition to coming here is fabulous, and it is a deposit in your spiritual life. When you hear music like that, I'm going to guarantee you that your soul was stirred today. So that's fabulous. Come here, but make an additional deposit regularly, not randomly. Don't pick up the Science of Mind magazine once a month. Pick it up regularly and glance at it. But the most important thing is this. We're going to wind up the series. I'm done with the series. I've loved this series, but I'm done with this series. Most important thing is this. You have to ask the question, is this a wise thing for me to do, given my past experiences, my current circumstances, my future hopes and dreams? Is this a wise thing for me to do? Let's take this message into prayer, knowing that we're in the heart and the mind and the very spirit of love. Love is around us. It's through us. I give thanks for this. I know that when I turn my attention to grows, and so I turn my attention to the area of the Crimea right now, knowing that those folks are going to begin to understand they are the presence of God. And everybody can get along when we're the presence of God. I turn my attention to all homeless sisters and brothers today, knowing that they have food to eat and a shelter of their choosing. I turn my attention to all of the people in prisons today, men and women, that they have hope, that they know they are whole, perfect, and complete human beings. I give thanks. I give thanks to the Great One for always saying yes. I release this word into the law, and together we say, and so it is.